Listen to me. Look at me. If you are sitting there right now, whether you are 60, 65, or already 5 years into your retirement, and you are planning your future based on the money rules you learned 10 or 15 years ago, you are making a devastating mistake. A mistake that could cost you your independence, your security, and your peace of mind. We need to have a serious, unfiltered reality check right here and right now. The financial landscape has shifted beneath your feet, and the culprit is an economic force that has permanently altered the math of your golden years. I am talking about inflation. Not just a temporary spike in prices, but a structural change that has fundamentally redrawn the boundaries of what it takes to survive and thrive in retirement. For decades, you were told a very comfortable story by traditional financial planners. They told you to work hard, save a nest egg, and then use the classic 4% rule to coast through the rest of your days. They told you that if you put your money into safe, conservative bonds, you could sit back and watch the sunset without a care in the world. Well, let me tell you something right now, that old reality is dead and buried. If you try to live by those exact rules today, you are setting yourself up to run completely out of money before you run out of breath. Think about it. When you walk into the grocery store today, or when you open your utility bills, or try to fill up your gas tank, you feel that sharp, tightening pit in your stomach. That isn't just your imagination, and it isn't just a bad season. It is the permanent erosion of your purchasing power. $1 million today simply does not buy what $1 million bought just 5 short years ago. If you assume a modest 3% inflation rate over the next 20 to 25 years, that $1 million nest egg you worked your fingers to the bone to build will need to practically double just to keep up with the basic cost of bread, milk, and healthcare. That is the new reality. I know exactly what you are feeling when you look at those numbers. You are feeling a deep, quiet, paralyzing fear. You are terrified of outliving your money. You lie awake at night wondering if a sudden market downturn or another wave of rising prices will force you to become a financial burden to your children. You worry that you will have to sell the home you love, give up the small luxuries that make life sweet, or worse, skip the medical care you drastically need just to keep the lights on. And because you are fearful, you are tempted to make some of the absolute worst financial decisions possible. Fear makes you want to pull all your money out of the stock market and bury it in a local checking account or low-yield certificates of deposit because you think they are safe. You think to yourself, if I don't lose my principal, I'll be okay. Safe money accounts that pay you next to nothing are a guaranteed way to lose wealth every single day to the invisible tax of inflation. When your living expenses are climbing and your interest rate is standing still, you are getting poorer by the hour. You cannot afford to let fear paralyze your intelligence. We also need to talk about where your savings are actually sitting, because this is where so many retirees get tripped up by terrible advice. I recently heard about a financial advisor telling a 65-year-old retiree to just leave her traditional retirement accounts completely alone and wait until required minimum distributions force her to touch them at age 73 or 75. Let me tell you, that is the absolute stupidest thing I have ever heard. If you sit on a traditional, tax-deferred account during your early retirement years when your income is at its lowest, you are letting a massive time bomb tick away. Every single year that account grows untouched, the eventual tax bill grows right along with it in nominal dollars. You are allowing the government to become a larger partner in your wealth while inflation erodes what is left. The years right after you stop working, before your Social Security and your required distributions kick in, are the lowest tax window of your entire life. You must take advantage of that window. Look at your tax bracket today, look at the top of the 12% or 22% federal brackets, and start systematically executing partial Roth conversions. Move that money out of the tax-deferred trap and into a Roth account where it can grow completely tax-free and come out completely tax-free, with no required distributions ever attached. To survive this new reality, you must have a concrete, actionable plan that you start executing this very week. First, I want you to completely throw out the old 4% withdrawal rule. In a world where basic expenses rise rapidly, pulling 4% or more out of a volatile investment portfolio is too dangerous. You need to adjust your expectations down to a conservative 3% withdrawal rate to protect your longevity. Second, you cannot abandon equities. I know the stock market can give you a stomach ache, but historically, stocks are the only asset class that consistently outperforms inflation over long periods. Use a smart rule of thumb: subtract your age from 110 if you are in good health, and keep that resulting percentage invested in high-quality, dividend-paying stocks or broad index funds. The rest goes into safe, liquid income. And that brings me to your cash buffer. To maintain your peace of mind when the markets get rocky, you need liquidity. You should have between 3 to 5 years of your core living expenses kept in high-yield savings accounts or short-term treasuries. This way, when the stock market goes through a bad year, you never have to panic sell your investments at a loss just to pay your monthly bills. You can simply draw from your cash buffer and give your stocks the time they need to recover and grow. Your retirement should not be a time of constant worry, second-guessing, and scarcity. You have worked far too hard and far too long to spend your golden years terrified of a trip to the supermarket. But financial freedom does not happen by accident, and it certainly doesn't happen by clinging to outdated strategies that no longer apply to the world we live in today. It requires you to be strong, to be smart, and to take deliberate control of your financial destiny. Stand up, face this new reality head-on, adjust your strategy, and protect your hard-earned security. You can do this, but you must start today.